Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're enjoying your lunch. We're sponsored today by CrowdTwist. Somewhat new to us at MediaPost as sponsors, but they're doing a number of shows and other undertakings for us this year in our publishing side as well. We really appreciate new people coming on board whenever that happens, and CrowdTwist is one of them. So you're going to hear today from Scott Ankers. He's the Director of Strategy, and he's going to talk to you about the holy grail of CPGs, extracting unique first-party data through loyalty programs. Scott.
Thank you. So over the last day and a half, we've had a lot of conversation between everyone, and I've done a lot of listening. And a lot of the conversation has really been at the top of the funnel, right? So how do we acquire new customers, and how do we drive awareness? And I don't think it's been a consistent message on the bottom of the funnel, how do we retain our most loyal customers? And I think if you go back to the traditional loyalty sense of an old-style program, it's more spend to get right. So you're going to spend money, you're going to get something in return. But as CPGs, we don't have access to that first-party data. It's 2019, there's new platforms and technology, and that's where CrowdTwist comes in. CrowdTwist is a multi-channel engagement and loyalty-based solution, which gives CPGs access to first-party data that goes not only from purchase, but anything along the brand experience that we want to capture as part of the unique journeys that you guys are looking to understand that your customers partake on. So a little bit about me. So I spent actually the first 5 years of my career working with Kroger in category development for carbonated soft drinks and health and beauty care. And the next 5 years I spent working at Macy's within category development as well for their vendors like Estee Lauder and Lancome. The one consistent theme across those roles was really that the brands and vendors, CPGs like you, wanted access to data. And they were paying a ton of money to Kroger and Macy's for access to secondary data of which they didn't have that first-party connection and ownership of the data itself. And that's always been the major challenge, right? Is that ownership of the data, and we've consistently heard that with the new privacy laws coming down, really owning that first-party data is going to be important, and a solution to own that data is what I hope I'll explain to you guys today. So ultimately, brands must reevaluate. So Catalina recently posted a study that 90 out of the top 100 CPG national brands have lost market share. So that's due to a variety of different reasons, whether that's private label commoditization, that's new category entrants, shifting consumer preferences. But ultimately, the story which really supports CPGs, though, is that those CPGs that have emotionally loyal consumers are retaining customers at a higher rate. And they're generating emotional loyalty consumers by being authentic, but collecting data and activating that data on their customers. So why does retention matter, and why should we be talking about this while we're at conferences like this today? We know that it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain your existing customers. And Bain & Company did a study where it says just a 5% increase in retention is going to lead to a 25 to 95% increase in profitability. So those are really big numbers, but we're not really talking about it. And we should be, because there's more reasons for emotional loyal consumers to be talked about. Brand Insider reported that 60% of your loyal consumers will tell friends and family about it. So word-of-mouth marketing from our emotionally loyal consumers is going to be strong. 50% of them are likely to join a program. 40% of emotionally loyal consumers would buy your brand despite cheaper commoditized options. Maybe not as relevant to CPGs here in the room, but 40% of customers would leave a product review on your site. And then 32%, or 1 out of every 3 customers, would be likely to engage in a promotion or a contest that you offer if you have emotionally loyal consumers. So loyalty programs are a way to build emotional loyalty and increase customer lifetime value. And ultimately, the real crux of that and how it would work is you just leveraging the data that you're going to glean. And really where CrowdTwist comes into the picture is we want to collect data from all different touch points that extend beyond the point of purchase. That said, though, loyalty isn't going to solve everyone's problem. As we talked about yesterday and heard, if your product experience isn't great, loyalty isn't going to solve that. The product experience comes first, the customer's already left. But if you are a CPG and you are looking to build D2C connections with your customers, if you're fighting private label commoditization, if you're protecting share from new entrants, if you're seeking to build emotional connections and own that first-party data, or measure ROI through your campaigns, a loyalty program could be right for you. So I know I'm speaking with a few people. Some people already have loyalty programs in market today. Some people are looking to get into the loyalty space. So I just want to provide a few tips on how to build a successful loyalty program for a CPG, and then as well as provide some examples from some of our clients today and how they're leveraging a loyalty program to drive their business. So ultimately, at the end of the day, a loyalty program really should be about capturing data on your customers in new ways. So we have programs that operate and collect survey information. They do testimonials. They pump content and incentivize customers to digest new content from the brand. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what a loyalty program provides you is a new currency to incentivize your customers to engage with your brand, to learn more about your brand, and hopefully build that authentic relationship over time. So first and foremost, again, about collecting data. Surveys is going to be a really great thing. I think when AdWallet did their presentation first yesterday, they talked about the first thing that a customer does is takes a survey. And we also recommend that with a lot of our clients as well, just so we can understand what particular journey and path to put them on based on their stated needs, right? So if for one of our clients, Purina, for example, if they have a new kitten, if we find out that they joined a program because they've acquired a new kitten, they're going to go on a much different journey through our platform than they would if they have a mature feline in their household. Consumer profile and preferences, so again, understanding why a customer is joining the program. So, for example, one of our clients, Disney, really wants to understand who they're buying for. So are they really buying from themselves, or are they gifting as part of joining the program? So then we can relevantly communicate the right offers to them at the right time. And then, of course, collecting purchase and engagement opportunities is going to be important for a CPG program. So through our platform, we have a variety of different ways for CPGs to capture first-party information. So Code on Pack, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with, similar to box tops from General Mills. We also have receipt scan, so members can take pictures of the receipts to really collect information on purchase from wherever they make that purchase. But not only collecting the information is important, but what we do with our clients is really make sure that we're activating the data that they do get, right? So if we're acquiring data on, again, why a member is joining the program or what their unique needs are, we want to make sure that we're putting them on that relevant journey and serving them up the right content and offers when it makes sense. If we're collecting profile information about birthdays, about other milestones that they had as part of their brand experience, we want to make sure we're celebrating those at the right time because those are influenceable moments, right? The customer is captive at that opportunity, and we want to make sure that we use that opportunity to reach out to them at that time. And then lastly, we want to be predictive about the life cycles and stages of our customers. So again, with the loyalty program, we're able to glean a ton of information that you may not have access to today and able to leverage that information in unique ways to understand when a customer might attrit or when a customer might be ready to refer someone else to the brand. So part of the thing that we do early on with all of our brands is really map out the customer journey for key segments early on. So when a program is set up, the right activation points along those influenceable moments are already designed. So whether or not someone is a new time or first-time joiner, from the moment that they join the program, they might be put on a particular path similar to that Purina example I did, where it's how do we prepare for bringing a new kitten at home, and then how do we empower the customer to understand that they're doing what's best for their new adoption. Similarly, if we further integrate our clients into the brand story, then we can really understand through the combination of unique data points that we have based on previous customers who may have done referrals, who might be prime and ready to refer someone else to the brand. So these are all capabilities that we're able to offer through a loyalty program yet that you might not have access to do today. So a few examples from our clients. The first one is Budweiser Rewards, which I want to talk to. And particularly with Budweiser Rewards is how they collect data and how they activate upon that data. So first and foremost with Budweiser Rewards, you can sign up for their program. If you haven't, feel free. But you would basically be able to upload a receipt from any point of purchase where you make a Budweiser purchase. So our technology can recognize receipts from wholesale channels, from in-bar environments, from in-game sporting venues. So we really just want to be able to capture and understand more about the customer and where they're making the purchase, wherever that may be. Another thing that Budweiser does is really understand where the customer is engaging with the brand and really consuming the brand. So what they do as part of the program is they actually allow members to redeem their points for ticketed events. And what's great about that is then Budweiser can follow up with the customer to let them know, hey, when you attend this event, here's where you can find Budweiser in the stadium, for example. Alternatively, if the event is not in stadium, but it's at home, and we're collecting the information on when a customer might host a party, for example. So recently for the World Cup, this was a campaign. Budweiser can reach out to the right audience as part of their population because we know that they're interested in the upcoming event, such as the World Cup. And then similarly, if we, again, collect more detailed information about our customers, we can tell them and help them experience the brand much quicker. So this is just an example of where, based on where a customer lives, we can let them know where the closest opportunity and location is for the customer to make a Budweiser purchase. From a promotional and marketing sense, so again, we can collect survey information on our customers and understand who their favorite NBA teams are, for example. And Budweiser does a lot of that around events and entertainment, such as concerts as well, to make sure that we're always being most relevant in the communications we have back to their customers and membership population. Another great thing about a loyalty program that you might not think of is how can we get customers to engage in new behaviors? So one of those for Budweiser is at-home delivery. So they actually do a strong partnership with Drizzly, which is at-home delivery of alcohol. So through the loyalty program, we're able to incentivize the customer at the right times and for particular events that might be coming up to try out a new channel for Budweiser. And then lastly about Budweiser is really about how they connect the customer between promotions. So I'm sure through all your brands, you guys are doing multiple marketing campaigns and multiple promotional events throughout the year. But you need a way to connect the customer across those campaigns, and Budweiser Rewards is that mechanism for Budweiser. So this is actually two campaigns that Budweiser recently ran. One was around the World Series, and another was this past July, where in each instance, Budweiser was incentivizing the customer to go on unique journeys to earn an incentive at the end of that journey. And along the journey, they were either incentivizing the customers to upload photos, to consume new content about product releases, and really just to understand more about what the brand is going on across all different channels. So the second tip really that I want to talk about today is how we incentivize for the brand valuable behaviors that are relevant to your specific brand. So we do a lot of work when we're doing program design with our customers to understand what makes their program unique and what really is the program mission. Because ultimately there's going to be a brand story behind every program, but we want the loyalty program itself to personify all the brand mission statements that you might have. So particularly if there's different ways that we can get consumers to discover more about your brand. So this isn't necessarily outbound, greenwashing, for example. Instead, the customers join the program, and now we're offering them an opportunity for themselves to digest the content when they want. And we're able to personalize that information based on what we know about them over time. Social engagement is another opportunity area that we're able to support and then refer a friend. So one brand that does this really well and stays on brand is Tarte. For those of you that don't know Tarte, Tarte is a millennial or a under 20 cosmetics brand. They have a very socially engaged population who doesn't necessarily have as deep as pockets as particularly someone who might be buying a higher end cosmetics product. And because of that, and because of a more youthful brand that they have, their actually program is heavily skewed towards the engagement aspect of the customer journey versus really trying to incentivize purchase over time. So they do a lot of content engagement around tutorials and pro tips and really how to understand a little bit more about the product for their customers who are just trying it out for the first time because of their age group. Similarly, Tarte does a lot of UGC engagement and incentivizes for that through the platform as well as social engagement. So they do a ton of different work across all the different social channels and use the Tarte Heart Rewards program to incentivize the engagement with the brand for many different social means. And then lastly, refer a friend. So Tart builds a community of tartlets, as they call them, and all the language is very flowery, targeted toward that group about being BFFs over time. So they just make sure as part of their program that they're referring or having their most loyal customers refer new people to the brand, because that's just what that generation loves to do, is share and bring their friends as part of the journey. The last tip I would have if you're thinking about building a loyalty program is, again, authenticity. I think it's been a theme over the last couple of days, but making sure that the program itself is authentic to what the brand experience is and really personifies, again, that brand mission. So that can be done through a variety of different ways, whether that's brand partnerships, curated member communities, or member-only events. There's a lot of different ways that you could be authentic to really, again, personify that mission. So a third example of an account that we support is actually Cat Chow. We'd love to say that they've perfected the brand authenticity, but really what they do well is build emotional loyalty with their consumers. And we talked a little bit about this at the round table yesterday if you were there, but Cat Chow doesn't necessarily have a mission. They don't necessarily need to have a mission beyond nourishing an animal, right? That's the product that they sell, and that's where their core focus is on. However, what they really want to do, though, is extend beyond that to build that emotional relationship to make sure that their consumers feel empowered that they're raising a well-nourished, a emotionally healthy animal, as well as an active and physically fit animal. So they look to provide ways of how they can empower their feline owners with content that really focuses on those three pillars that extend beyond purchase. Another way that they pump through authenticity is really around unique brand voice. So they have a very unique voice that they can tap in on, which is around cats, so paws up for perk points. But you'll see a lot of the communication that they have through the program. It really is catchy around different cat-related lingo. What MyPerks does as well is they have a curated community. So this is across social channels, but again, as well as how gathering information from the community about how they took care of their cat, or if customers have problems with their cats, what did other people do to resolve maybe health issues that they had associated with their cat. So really helping through the MyPerks program curate a community, build that emotional connection to the brand overall. And they actually do that through what's called Catapedia, which is different articles based on all the different unique needs that you might have as being a cat owner. Authenticity for the brand as well is done through charitable contributions. So as part of the program, members can donate points to their local shelters. And with the new evolution of the program that we're doing here, they'll be able to nominate local shelters as well. So really getting in, honing in on the local aspects of communities that members might have a stronger emotional tie to versus a national organization. And the last thing that Purina does actually is they do cross-brand support. So clearly Cat Chow is the focus of the MyPerks program, but it's a part of a larger portfolio for Purina. And they actually leverage the database for MyPerks to support some of the other brand initiatives that might be going on as well. And it's just a great opportunity, that a loyalty program with the first-party connection that you have. And one of those opportunities that we do is we know where the Purina customers most often shop. So if something changes amongst one of the brands within the portfolio, we can reach out to those consumers through the data that we've captured through the MyPerks program. So at the end of the day, and I think there was a slide earlier that talked about this, but through a loyalty program with CrowdSource, we're able to capture unique data, but ultimately we want to be able to combine that data with other information that you guys have to have smarter data, as I think it was termed earlier. But also it's your data, right? So the data that we receive, we're going to make sure that you guys have the ownership and you can activate against it, and make sure that it goes to the right delivery channels. So ultimately, why CPGs choose CrowdTwist? I think first and foremost, again, it's that unique ability to capture first-party data and build 360 views on your customers that you may not have had the ability to do before. Outside of that, though, CrowdTwist itself has a very marketer-friendly tool, so the back-end control center, which we have, can activate campaigns without any development resources and directly on your site to encourage purchase wherever your customer may be buying. All of our programs are innovative, so they use the same SaaS solution and technology. But if you look across the programs that we support, you'll see that they're very different experiences, again, tailored to the relevant channel or industry of which the brand is operating in. And then lastly, what we support is, again, around those different lifecycle strategies, predictive predictive marketing to make sure that when we would expect a customer to engage with the brand, that she has done that, or if we want a customer to make a referral, for example, that we're encouraging that behavior at the right time. So CrowdTwist itself actually supports 3 primary channels. So CPGs, we do support why we're here today. So from Budweiser to Nestle, Busch, Vitamix, Newell Brands. Another channel that we greatly support is retail, and then media and entertainment. So if you guys have any interest in how we support any of these brands, just talk to me afterwards, and I can highlight that for you. And finally, about CrowdTwist, so recently Forrester published their Q2 waves on loyalty technology platforms, and CrowdTwist is humbled to be recognized as the leader in the industry. So again, if you guys have any questions about our technology, definitely come up to me and let me know, and I can help you understand why CrowdTwist was nominated or identified as the leader within the industry. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thanks, Scott. That's great. No, appreciate that. So, Scott, you're here with the team as well?
Yep, Carter's with me.
Oh, there you are. Okay, great. So if you have questions for these guys, I mean, we could maybe take a quick one now. I don't want to shut you guys down if you have interest from the audience. Yep, we got one here. We can do this. We can do this. Just let us know who you are and where you're from.
Hi, Dean Jackson, Life Extension. You mentioned in one of your slides the ability to kind of look at different stages of the life cycle and using variables to be predictive. Outside of kind of traditional transactional metrics, what other metrics are you using to kind of predict stages of a life cycle, for instance? And more specifically, if you can comment on kind of anti-defection measures or predicting somebody that's going to attrit.
So it's hard to answer that question specifically because generally the brands or the behaviors that we want to predict might have different data that helps inform that decision, right? So one of our clients is Sleep Number, who their entire goal of being on our platform is to make a referral. But one of the leading indicators for them of whether or not someone would make a referral is whether or not they provided a testimonial as part of the brand or they've written a product review. Alternatively, if it's about making the next purchase, then it's really around analyzing RFM metrics, right? And understanding what metrics would help predict when a customer should come in based on when they last made a purchase. And different variables come into play there, the size of your first order to the frequency you may be logging into the program. So it just depends. But those are similar type metrics.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again. We appreciate it,
Thanks.
Scott. That was great. And yeah, get these guys if you have, with Carter or Scott, if you have any questions.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Great job. Great job. Okay.